Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the ACI Motorsports GT3 Cup Challenge here at Road America. I'm Austin. I am joined by Alessandro Dalladone with Dennis Branch, giving you all these lovely graphics and camera angles today. We're currently sitting at the end of qualifying as we look over a beautiful Road America. Alessandro, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks you. Thanks, Austin. We are looking forward for this event. We revamped Road America, just refurbished today for this beautiful event, isn't it?
Yeah, after round one at Watkins Glen International, it was a very fun race, and everyone here today is getting ready to go for another exciting round here for the ACI Motorsports GT3 Cup Challenge.
Yeah, we have just 1 minute left to the qualifying session, but seems like everybody has already turned their laps. So I guess Maurice Krantz in the 62 will be our pole sitter for today's event.
Yeah, Marcus Krantz currently sitting up there in provisional pole. We're still waiting for a few of the guys, but a few quality of life improvements for us and everyone else. Everyone has a name this time, so we aren't going to go with some crazy nicknames like we had in the first round. So we do know who is racing under each crazy nickname this time. So that is going to be very, very helpful for us and helpful for everyone viewing to spot who it is as well. Particularly, we're talking about Superman, aka Austin Henry, which is something I should have known because I'm the one who gave him that nickname in the first place.
Yeah, for sure. And we all wonder who was behind that very interesting nickname, and now we know. But now let's go through the grid, Austin.
Starting up on pole is Marcus Krantz, followed by Riley Dickinson. Elliott Skier starts at the second row, followed by Rob Ferroli, as they are all lining up right now. I believe this is a rolling start, but let's keep on going. Next is RJ Till, followed by the Superman himself, Austin Henry, Eric Voss, Kurt Hunt, Randall Bryant, Richard Edge, David Moore, Kurt Swearingen in 12th place. They're followed by Dave Madden, Efren Castro, Carlos Lopez Jr., Alvin Medney, Seth Thomas, Clifton Lipple, Dimitri Kellner, Bart Collins, James Thursby, Lynn Tran, Dan Hardy, and Michael Manella in 24th. The last three guys, David Smith, Tom Kerr, and Sebastian Carrazzo in 27th in that number 27 Porsche GT3 Cup car. And all these cars, the Cup cars, and that pace car, that really threw me off right there, but it started on the very left side of the track. And that's why I thought we were having a standing start. No, it's a rolling start. So one of the longest rolling starts we have, longest warm-up laps we have on iRacing. So we're going to be here for a while, but we get to take a look at this beautiful, beautiful track of Road America.
Yeah, it threw me off too, because we are not used to see the pace car sitting on the left side or right side of the road, standing in the middle.
It was just updated today, so, you know.
Yeah, there might be some tricks that they have still to tweak for this release. And meantime, we see the first few drivers rolling behind the pace car. And
Okay, the pace car, it's come back into the middle. That's good.
yeah, definitely. And we'll have a chance to go through the lap and explain this beautiful track to you guys. Thanks to Austin. Did you have any experience on this track?
No, I don't have any experience racing here. I did test here once, but I've never raced here in an actual race. But I do know another one of our commentators, Tyler, he has raced here in real life, and he gets pretty aggressive here, unlike me. But then again, I race an open World Series car. Tyler races in the MX-5s.
Yeah, for sure. I bet people will be more like Tyler than you today, especially we see here coming down the backstretch in this DRS zone for all the F1 cars coming down to the hairpin, which is a very well-known trouble spot, especially with cold tires and these cars do not have ABS running. It is gonna be very, very, very difficult.
Yeah, this rundown is going to be the biggest overtaking opportunity point heading into turn, well, I call it turn 3. It's really like turn 5 or something, due to the track nature, and hard on the brakes, gotta avoid the lockups and everything. Then heading into the Corvette corner, as I call it, you rise up here to flick to the left. Very tricky, especially because it's a very low grip corner. And these cars with that big wing is going to give these drivers confidence, but they can't fully carry on through there. But they are closing in on each other again, as this spot right here, I call it Bratwurst Corner because everyone is always cooking bratwurst around here in real life. So if you have your window open or if you're watching a race, this is the corner to be in. If you don't
Thanks
know what
for
bratwurst
this
is, it's sausage.
beautiful tips. I'll keep it in mind if I ever come here to Elkhart Lane to watch an IMSA race or anything like that. And meantime, we see the bunch approaching one of most iconic corners on this track.
Yep, the kink is good. It's a very misleading corner, and you definitely cannot go too wide through here at speed. If you do, it's going to lead to some carnage. So expect some heavy battling going into there and then coming out of that corner as they have another big straight for these guys. Once more, another DRS zone for cars that have DRS. And it's a nice run up to another big overtaking opportunity and a big clashing opportunity of Canada Corner. It's called the Canada Corner because it's the most northern corner on the track.
Yeah, it's we have seen people having some issues also in practice, so we'll obviously have to keep an eye on that. But now Moritz Kans from his leading position is gonna probably let the pace car go a little bit far in front and go up the hill where we've seen in recent years, not only in racing official events, but in many series, many
It can get
accidents.
chaotic. Well, the heartbeats are rising, and so are the Reds as they're climbing the hill at a snail's pace. But we are getting ready to go for the ACI GT3 Cup Esports Series here at Road America. And Riley Dickerson gets a great start, and he jumps ahead of Mortis Kranz right before the line.
Very, very good start. And coming around the onside of the 62, Dickinson is gonna take the lead.
Oh, look at this move by Skier. Skier and Dickinson are going side by side. Kranz and Skier side by side for P2 as it's Dickinson, Kranz, Skier. Kranz swinging around the outside of Skier. There's a car going off already. We got cars spinning around in turn 3.
Yeah, Ferrio, I think was the car who got maybe a little tap and went wide there. Meantime, we see Skier moving from side to side, trying to attack. Very
Look down his inside. That's Foss. Foss looked down the inside. He upset Skier right there. And oh, big hit. That's Hunt and Moore getting collected in that.
Yeah, as per usual, they have been always creating a lot of trouble for the drivers. Meantime, we see here Reginald Till trying to close up on Foss. But even though we had some contact, so far the first lap has been very, very clean.
Yeah, first lap up front has been very clean. Skier and Kranz battling it out, as well as Foss and Till. As we look down the field, as that gap has pretty much stretched out from this leading group, we see Superman joining up with them as well. As it's Dickinson, Kranz, Skier, Foss, Till, Superman, your top 6.
Yeah, Dickinson had a very, very good restart. Maybe later we will have also a chance to have a look at that. Did he maybe jump the star? It was a great,
Ooh, look at Foss.
yeah, pushing really hard, but cold tire catching the driver a bit off guard. Eric Foss, who has been a masterclass in Watkins Glen, getting the win in the opening events by almost 40 seconds on Kurt Hunt. So today he's gonna for sure try to get a repeat of that.
Well, Riley Dickinson, if he did get a black flag for that, he definitely did not serve it right there. So it looks like that pass was totally legal for Riley Dickerson. As it's Dickerson, Skier made a move on Krantz coming out of Canadian corner, going into the final corner, and he sits in second, but he's got Krantz on him, and around goes Austin Henry.
Yeah, we saw in the back end of our screen losing the back end, I guess, in that corner, which is very easy. Let's catch the replay now of our man Austin Henry in the 69.
That's coming out of turn 2 into turn 3. Just clipped the apex into that grass, and he went around for a ride right there. No other cars collected with him, but Austin Henry, one of the front runners in Watkins Glen practice session, and I believe qualifying as well. Unfortunately, not the best race for him, and it's looking like this race is going to be a big climb back up the field as he drops down to 12th place.
It's very easy to lose the car in that corner. Any car, even with traction control, it's very complicated. That inside curb is always catching a lot of driver off guard, and it's so easy to spin there. No harm, no foul. Car is still in one piece. Is a bit behind now, but there's still plenty of time. It's a 45-minute race, so plenty of time to recover.
Yeah, 4 minutes out of 45 laps around here. 2 minutes 15 average around there. 2 minutes 10, I would say. So you got roughly, I could do a little bit of quick maths right here. 20.
Yeah, more or less we should have that amount laps. We'll see then how the leader will cross the start finish line in the last few laps. But for sure the drivers are ready, trying to serve to conserve their tires as much as they can, and obviously now they are all focused trying to put some decent laps, make sure not to make any mistakes, and build their tires up from with the temperature up in their tires. Meantime we see here Austin Henry trying to make a pass, but it was a bit too far.
Yeah, that he was looking up the inside, but it was so far away from him that he really couldn't send it into there. That brake zone is so shallow. It's not enough room to actually just lunge it in on the brakes. If you want to try it up the inside, right there is, oh, right behind him. That is Carazaro down at Sebastian has been the biggest mover so far. He was up 14 spots, and now we have a move for the lead as Dickinson's around.
Yeah. Let's see if we can catch a replay of that in the next few seconds, because it's really surprising. He has been very fast, very consistent the first few laps, and all of a sudden he gave up his lead.
This is turn 5, heading into turn 6. He could go a bit wide here, but oh, yep. Words came right out of my mouth, and he did just that. Got caught up in the web of that gravel trap, and he drops down to 3rd as he's chasing Krantz and Skier. Skier, amazing start, battling all the way to the lead. Krantz, the pole sitter, sitting in 2nd place, and Riley Dickinson sitting right behind them in 3rd, with Foss just sitting quietly in 4th place watching this.
Yes, Skier now will try his best to get even a bit more gap on Krantz after Dickinson making that mistake. And for sure Foss is gonna try to stick in the draft of Dickinson, because he was a bit too far behind from the lead pack. Now that he has the 53 car, as you can see from our timing screen, best lap of the race so far, 2:8.454. So definitely he has some pace in that car, but he hasn't shown it off so far.
Yeah, but it's all clear roads and clear blue skies with some little bit of clouds up there. But hey, cloudy day is pretty much awesome any day of the week because that is a beautiful blue sky right there for Elliott Skier in that 14 car for ACI. So he's going to take us around a lap of Road America.
You can see how smooth he is. Very composed driving, no sudden movements in the wheel, and you can see how also the braking is very smooth, especially this car. You have to be super consistent in your braking inputs. So difficult, seems so easy watching it at the TV, but when you are actually on the track, it's very complicated to get a clean, fast lap around this track. So challenging, one of my worst track in my opinion, because I can't get a single lap in without any small mistake.
Yeah, the most difficult part of the track for me would have to be that kink. You just want to take so much speed into there, and if you do, the back end can kind of slip out on you if you go a bit wide to get into that grass, and around you goes. We saw that with a few drivers already. As Elliott is just flying through these corners right now. Little small lift. As you can see, the car of Krantz sliding around in his rear view mirror. But he comes across the final corner right now, and that is a lap around Road America with Elliott Skier. As a top four leading the way in this field.
Yeah, Reginald Till in 5th place is a bit behind. Meantime, we see here the battle for P12 with Kurt Hunt in the 24, P11, sorry, and Swearing in the 17 in front in the white and green car, trying to defend. They are a bit behind,
Kurt
but
Hunt, he actually's got some damage on that back right side pod of his. Looks like he got tapped into from somebody, but he's going to swing it up the inside and make a lovely move for 11th. Had all the speed in the world right there.
yeah, for sure, that tiny damage will be affecting the car for sure. And on the long straight, he will lack some mile per hour that are gonna compromise him, especially when he is in such a close battle. Meantime, Moritz Krantz still in the hunt of Elliott Skier in the 14 car, trying to get back to where he started the race in P1.
Yeah, Moritz closing up to Skier, and Dickerson is staying in the same spot. 1.5 seconds as RJ Till's gone off.
Yeah, a small mistake is dropping back.
Is it the same corner as Riley? It looks like it, and exactly the same. Oh, a little bit different mistake. He just got the rear tires into there, and ooh, very tricky regional. He lost 3 spots right there, and now he's sitting in 8th place.
Yeah, so easy to use the back end. That little uphill section is unsettling so much the car when you get on the level. Is so difficult to drive, and this car is already a challenge itself. The margin of making a mistake there is so little. You have to nail it lap by lap every time, and after 30 laps you can still get it right. It's such complicated, but it's such a good feeling when you start to do proper good laps around here.
It's a very satisfying feeling when you walk together a lap around here. It's the one of the more tricky tracks on there, but it looks so easy when you look at it. But when you're out there on track, it is very complicated when you get on there and just look at it from the driver's point of view because, well, most of the turns, they have a little small bend right in front of them, or they're coming up after a rise and it's a blind apex, or you think you can carry more speed into there, then next thing you know, you're in the wall.
Yeah, indeed, for sure. I mean, we see here the 230 car of Lipol trying to pass Efren Castro, two of the guys who made the most spots in our field today. Castro from up from P14 and Lipol from P18. So they are definitely the biggest movers of today's race, and they are trying their best now to get a P6. We can see how the top four are definitely much faster than all the other drivers. They are racing completely on another level, Austin.
Well, they're all sitting nose to tail in each other's draft, pulling away as the rest of the field is caught up in mistakes. And one thing they're consistent, one thing they're in a draft, and one thing these guys are fast.
Yeah, definitely. You can see them pushing so hard. You can see them using every single inch of this racetrack, using also the grass sometimes exiting at the end of the curbs. This is what race drivers do. They push on the limit every time. Let's see here Lipol in this replay. What happened to him? I feel like he's gonna make a mistake. I saw him dropping down the order.
Whoa, big snap oversteer, and he goes around, hitting the wall, and almost collecting another car coming out of Canada corner. Just too much mustard right there. And Lipple damage, and I believe that might be a pit stop as well. Yes, it is, as he heads into the pit lane.
Yeah, the guys have a reset, a fast repair, so essentially they can go back down pit road and get a new car, a spare car, for the rest of the event. So he will be back, but obviously this is gonna cost him a lot of time.
It definitely will be costing him a lot of time. He does have some gap to the cars behind him, but he will be in trouble if he wants to go and try to contest for this race.
Moritz Kranz still here trying to reel down Skier, but the gap is always sticking to that alpha second, 6/10,000. So he's always trying to get that slipstream, which is helping him on the straight, but at the same time disturbing in the corners. So it's gonna be easy to see if they are pushing 100% now, or they are just trying to keep up with the skier and then try maybe to save the tires for the end of the race.
It definitely is. Tire wear is going to win you this race, as it's going to be even more crazy on at the end with low grip situations.
The track, as you said in the introductions, Austin is already slick. Is one of the slickest track I have ever driven on. And this combo with this car is really complicated to handle. So you see now already drivers struggling with new tires. Also now in the last few laps when the tires are essentially already at optimum temperature. So I expect some drivers who maybe have not managed their tires so good at the start, or they slid the tire meter. We see here a lap car giving Skier a bit of trouble in the hairpin.
Yeah, Krantz getting all the way up to the gearbox now of Skier. That laps car, it's going to be a big chore getting past these laps cars, because Road America is so narrow that going too wide here is kind of a chore, especially if you're coming out of a corner. So you can barely go too wide here and you have very little wiggle room, because the grass on either side is going to force giant mistakes. And we can see Skier, he already has some damage on the front of his car.
Yeah,
And
for sure. It's gonna affect him.
We were talking about how slick this track is. This track is also one of the most weather dependent track. So let's see if we can get our weather report up in here right now as we ride on board with Riley Dickerson in this 1, 2, 3 car combo.
And you can see how close they are. There's no margin for error. If Krantz makes just a tiny mistake, Dickinson is gonna hit him with the bumper.
Skinner just drifted around the final corner. He got into the grass and went around. Now, he saved it, but look at the speed that Krantz and Dickinson are carried down the front straight. Just pedal to the metal right now, going too wide as the track temperature is a cool 77 degrees, and Krantz passes Skier with Dickinson right behind. They're going side by side, nose to tail, 1, 2, 3, almost 4 with Foss right behind. But new race leader, it is once again Mortis Krantz, followed by Dickinson, Skier, and Foss, your top 4. And this is a very tightly packed group right now.
Yeah, this is an amazing racing. Let's see if they can keep it clean, but they are so close. They're almost locking bumpers down the straight. Let's see now what he has.
Drafted. I think Krantz got a little bit of a bump draft from Skier. But Riley Dickinson goes on the inside. This Krantz!
Yeah, a spin exiting the corner, power sliding, too much power in the rear tires, and he went around. This is not what he wanted. He just got back into the lead for a tiny bit, and now he's 5 seconds behind Dickinson. So he will have to work really hard now to get back to the main. But we see here Skier flashing his lights. He tried to move on the inside, but Dickinson, he blocked him entering the carousel corner.
Yep, Skier. I think he may have got into the back of him on corner exit, and it was just a bit of combination of low grip and maybe a small touch. But Dixon, Skier, Foss, your top 3, nose to tail with each other. Here comes Foss looking down the inside. I believe that was just him being safe. He's one of the more safer drivers up there in the front, as you can barely see any damage on his car compared to the other 2 cars of Skier and Dickinson.
I bet that the one who is cheering for this fight up front is Moritz Krantz in the 62. He already gained half a second. Meantime, these 2 up front are fighting so hard, trying to pass each other, and they're giving us a very, very good time here.
Yeah, it's a drag race here at Elkhart Lake. Skier looking around the outside. Dickinson almost getting it right in there, but it's so close between the 2. A big clinch moment for all 3 of these cars. And all 3 of these drivers giving it their all. But the man who is loving this battle the most, it's going to be Krantz, because when you start battling, you're going to slow each other down. And Mortis Krantz is closing in as they go 2 wide once more, going down the straight and heading into turn 5. Skier looking down the inside once more. Dickinson and Skier. Dickinson goes wide. Skier stays onto the track. Skier's got a good run. They bap wheels once more. Side by side, Skier's got the inside, and Skier's going to go up. It's back into first place.
It's interesting to see also Eric Foss in the 28 car. How he is very calm. He doesn't really try to push to pass the 2. He's looking, yeah, he's showing himself in the mirror sometimes, but he's never really pushing that hard in the corner and trying to get them. So he's just playing with them, letting them play around, fight each other off, using their tires. So I think Foss didn't get lucky like last week at Watkins Glen, where he essentially checked out after a big wreck in lap 1. But he's still looking very, very solid for this race.
Yeah, you're going to have to work for it this week. And you aren't going to have a giant wreck at the start of the race to make it seem pretty easy for you. And we're getting a great show out of it right here with these 3 cars. They have another lap car ahead of him as they all dive in right into that draft, and we're going to have a very scary front straight right here. Hopefully they all stay in a line and zoom past him right before turn 1 as I believe that is Swearigan, but they're fanning out right now as that's Skier onto the inside and Skier and Dixon get into each other and
Oh,
Foss has split them and he's gone through into the grass and here comes Kranz. Kranz is clean. Kranz has all the speed. Kranz is closing in on Foss and we have a new battle for the lead, but another unfortunate incident at the front between Skier and Riley Dickinson, both of them hard into turn one. Skier had nowhere to go and Foss shot the moon and shot the gap right there, and he eased through there, but it's not out of the woods yet as he is joined by Mortis Krantz, who is back in the lead. The pole sitter versus race one winner.
what
Oh
a turning of
my.
events. From P4, 3.5 seconds behind, to race leader in a matter of a few corners. And we also have to give a lot of credit to Eric Foss for splitting the two and coming out of that incident almost unscraped. I don't see much damage that we
I
haven't
see
seen
some dirt.
before.
I just see
But
some dirt, maybe a little bit of a scrape in the front left bumper. He had nowhere to go, and he backed it out as much as he could, and well, the seas parted right for him. He split through just like Moses did. And honestly, it was a beauty to behold right there for Foss. We see Skier in the background. If these two start fighting once more, Skier could close in on him and make this another three-way fight. But wow, that was awesome.
fights everywhere in the field. We see here now Reginald Till fighting with Castro still, who is having a solid run for P6, and Randall Bryant in the 15 car also in P5 is not that far, so it's gonna be very, very interesting because we have two big groups, a four group, let's say 3-car group now if Skier can manage to get back to Krantz and Foss, and then behind here we have another 3-car group fighting for the last top 5 spot.
Yeah, last top 5 spot is always a good spot to be watching out for as they're going side by side right behind Efren Castro. That is RJ Till, and that's a lap car of Hardy back there as we're already halfway through this race. And it doesn't seem like we were halfway through this race. It seems like we started this race, I don't know, 5 minutes ago, honestly. This race has flown by.
Yeah, when you are having fun, obviously, and we are having today because the guys are giving us a neck of a show today, time flies really, really fast. The big loser of that incident, oh, might Dickinson have been just around? Because I saw him dropping a few seconds. Let's see if we can catch a replay of that. Riley Dickinson, big loser of that incident because even though Skier got involved, doesn't seem to matter.
That
It's another
corner
replay.
once more. Riley Dickinson's been struggling with that corner so many times, and this has not been his race. He's safely in 4th place right now, so he doesn't have to worry about that anymore, as this is the battle for 5th place between Bryant Castro and Till.
Yeah, they are going at it. They are not. Ooh, he got a bit of
Castro, and he gets into Till. Till and Castro. That is the danger, a Canadian corner, and that grass as Austin Henry is going to swoop into 6th place right there. And that Porsche is crabbing all over the place, and he's going to get a tow into the pits. Let's go back up to the battle for the lead between Kranz and Frost.
Eric Foss still not far behind. They are doing solid lap times. If we see here, the best lap time of the race so far has been of Maurice Krantz in a 2:08, 2:04. Now they are lapping around the 2:09. And Krantz has been the only driver this time by to be still in the 208, so Foss lost a little bit, but not that much. Elio Skier instead lost another half a second, so it's gonna be very, very tough for Skier if he doesn't step up his game in the next few laps to even try to be close enough to see if anything happens in the last few laps to try to still contend for the win.
Yeah, Skier has to put the blade between his teeth and catch up. He's down by 3 seconds, but they never say never. And honestly, with what we've seen so far, you don't have to you just have to be there when you be there, because anything can happen with these guys up at front. They can start battling again. But Eric Foss is one of those drivers that just likes to have somebody else in front of him. He'll follow you, but when time comes, he'll come in there and try to snatch up B1 when you aren't looking for it.
Yeah, I have no doubt about that. I think we've seen people being aggressive from the start of the race, and they won't ease up their mind for the end of it. So if Foss will be able to really enhance, which doesn't seem really like it so far, he will go at it as soon as he can. He doesn't need to stay behind him and study Kranz for a few laps. He knows really well where he is faster and where Kranz is faster than him. So as soon as he gets back to him, he's gonna send it for sure.
Definitely. Well, a send is in order for Foss, but we have just over, I would say, 17 minutes to go before we will see any real lunge from Foss for the lead. So all he hopes to do is stay in the draft of Crans and stay on that bumper just to give a fighting chance for the lead of this race.
Yeah, Kranz has also to be careful in a few laps time about lap traffic, because as you can see on our screen there, you can see already up front a few cars. The gap between Kranz and the back markers he has in front, like Metney or Smith, it's about 2 seconds, 3 seconds per lap. So in the next lap, he will already start to find some lappers, which could help one or the other driver, as per usual. You have to be very lucky with lap cars. There are not a lot of drivers, 27, still a decent amount showing for this event. And a long track obviously helping the drivers to spread out a little bit.
Yeah, it's a long track, but with lap cars, it can kind of get congested, as we saw some other groups struggle with that. As I believe we could throw up our mini map right now, we could just see on how crowded this track can be in certain spots. As yeah, they're all peppered all over the place. Just look at that pack with 9th place all the way down to 12th place. There's a big old chunk of lap cars right there, and we got a car off. That's Bryant off.
Yeah,
Randall
seems
Bryant's
like
off the
just
track
a
in
few cars.
Canadian corner. One great thing about our mini map, it tells us when the driver's off. And Randall Bryant, I believe that was a lap car he was trying to get past, locked up the brakes and gone way off. Couldn't get the car on it, hard into the wall, and he took multiple bounces into there. And Randall Bryant drops down into 8th place from a lap car. That's Hunt going wide, and right there, and Bryant jumps up into 7th place.
Yeah, I think it might have been the 54 car of Devin Moore, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But obviously he didn't want to lose any time behind him, and he tried to go around on the inside. But as soon
It
as you
was more.
start locking up the tires there, there's no way you can catch the car back if you don't release completely the brake, and you can't afford to do that in the corner. But it's so easy to go straight there. He should have been a little bit more safer, but it's always a lot of if. The mistake as
Oh, Kurt! That is a Kerr. Slapped car
yeah.
Kerr going around right there.
You can see how many mistakes are made on this track. It's very challenging. So
Yeah, Tom
you
Kerr
need
has been struggling all day. You can see damage on the car. There's just too much mustard on the gas right there. Also, the damage might have hurt his steering rack a bit, so he might have been crabbing. Back up to the front, it's Krantz, and he's showed up to the lap car of Metney right there, and it's a clean track ahead of Metney. So Metney has all the room to let Krantz by on the straight. Let's see if he does that.
not really.
Motion out to the inside. Mortis Krantz looking down to the inside as well. They're not going to get out of the way at two.
Very close. But what we missed is the fact that Force has dropped back to a 2.2 second gap. So even though Krantz is having to face lap traffic now, he's pulling up a bigger gap than what we thought, and this is a very important phase of the race.
During this, they also passed Smith while we were looking at a different instance. They're going 3 wide down the front stretch. That is Brian, Hunt, and Moore trying to shuffle their way past him right there. They do it pretty nicely. And look at this run that Hunt's got now. Hunt, great run on Moore. Down onto the inside, and Hunt's already swinged past him right there. Hunt up into 7th, but now Bryant is going to have a draft on Hunt.
It's very good to pass there, but you have to keep in mind that you have also to keep a car behind you in such a long straight. It's not that easy, and we see here Brian going by Hunt again in the airpin, but here comes the fight back. A bit too deep.
A bit too deep, and now Moore, the lap car, is going to get passed on Bryant. Bryant, if we could see real life cockpit views right there, we would have to blur probably what he just did.
I bet we do. He's not gonna be happy about it because Murray is not minding his business. He's fighting people which are not on his lap. But I feel like Murray is just wanting to have some fun because obviously nobody likes to run around on the track just scoring laps. But Brian, I don't think he's gonna think the same.
Yeah, Bryant's not going to like that, and he's going to try to get past Moore as fast as he can. A little bit down the field to the battle for 9th between Madden, Richard, Edge, Thomas, and Swearigan. Well, Thomas and Swearigan are having their own different battle back there, as it's Edge, Madden, Edge, and Thomas. This 3-car fight right here. Richard Edge was one of those drivers who was going to just bite Edge in the first round. I called him the Rated R Superstar. Another accurate guess, as his name, his first initial does start with R.
Indeed.
But he's no wrestler.
We see him going through the 11 car of Madden, and now back onto P9, sorry. And let's see if we can get on board with Foss, because he's really needing Kratz back. Let's see if we can see the great...
Well, they got a lap car ahead of him through the carousel. This is going to help out Foss a lot. And it's going to hurt Krantz, because this section of the track, you do not want to have a slow car in front of you, because watch how close Foss is going to gain on Krantz.
Yeah, for sure. He's not gonna be happy, Krantz, about his lap car, which is Castro, by the way, who came back onto the track after using his spare car after that big shunt he had right here at Canada Corner. He doesn't let Krantz by. So this is gonna play out really well for Faust.
Oh, and
Castro
up
now.
goes Castro. That's the most efficient way of letting the car pass you by. It's the most unfortunate way as well. But you don't want to be the guy that's held up the leader and affected the race win with less than 10 minutes to go. Foss in the draft to Kranz, separated by 1.1 seconds.
As you see here by this beautiful camera we have on board with Foss, how dirty it is the windscreen. Unfortunately, we can't use our wipers to clean it off. Drivers, after 37 minutes, have this beautiful view with all kind of debris on the windscreen. It's gonna be really tough after a few hours of racing. After 1 hour, it's gonna be pretty full, I guess. So.
Definitely, windshield tear-offs exist for a reason, as windshields can collect marbles, rubber, bugs, visor tear-offs, and the occasional plastic bag or two.
First, you can see reading him Kranz under a second. Seems like Kranz is going a bit.
He made a bit of a mistake.
Yeah,
coming out of turn 6, he made a bit of a mistake. Went wide and got into the grass as I was making the windshield thing, and another lap car in front of him. That's Manella in the kink now. And Foss is just eating Kranz up right now. A big hit of the brakes for Kranz as he got into the dirt right there on the apex. And Foss is hunting Kranz down.
Meantime, we have saw the 11 car of T, the 07 car of T in 11th place, highlighting in our track map. So he might have gone off for a tiny bit, dropping back down the order. Meantime, Skier is trying to get by Dickinson on the very aggressive move around the inside now, faking it first, and he's through. Textbook move, but now he has to defend.
Yeah, he has to defend now. Back up to the lead for Foss, and Foss has hit the wall! Yeah, he tried to go down to the inside of Kranz, and he smacked the wall hard. He kept the car going straight, and he's going to swing it around the outside of turn 1. Eric Foss takes the lead in dramatic fashion. But Kranz swinging up the inside now. We're going to have a drag race to determine the leader as they're coming out of turn 3 into 4 and heading into turn 5.
Yeah, great racing, drag racing. Let's see who is gonna break the latest here.
Oh,
and
Foss!
Look at that.
That's an early break for Foss on the lap car. Manello gets into the back of him. But Foss and Kranz, nose to tail. We've already got a taste of what's to come. Foss had a lock up. Kranz went so slow. Foss wasn't expecting it. And these two are going nose to tail right now between each other.
What a beautiful event this is. Great racing. Let's see. We don't know where to put our cameras on now because there are so many battles all over the field. So beautiful racing so far today here at Road America, Austin.
We got a battle for all the marbles and a battle for a little bit of the bubbly. The battle for the lead and a battle for third between Skier and Dickinson, and the battle for the lead between Kranz and Foss. And I wish I had multiple camera angles right now, because I would be glued to both of them. I'll be watching this race cross-eyed. You can see the flashing lights of Dickinson wanting to get past Manella right there. They both swing up the inside so close to each other. They almost collide right there, but they kept it clean as we enter 4 minutes to go here at Road America. And I would say 2 laps left.
Yeah, definitely. We did. Oh, and Skier is around, and this is not good. This is not good. He hit pretty hard the wall, and he's hitting again.
He's frustrated. That's a frustration throttle. Skier's got into the pit lane. Dickinson saw that in his mirror, and he could breathe a sigh of relief. And we can go back to the battle for the lead between Kranz and Frost. They got a lap car to with right now, and Kranz sends it in, but he sends it in too deep. Kranz went into the grass. Foss has got the lead. The lapped car of Hardy was in the way. Kranz thought he could send it up there, and he just got too confident in there, and he overcooked that entry, and we have a new leader of Eric Foss with 2 minutes to go.
Boy, I didn't see it ending like this, to be fair. I wanted to see a last lap fight, but you never know. I don't want to jinx it, but Eric Foss is doing a fabulous job, so he might well keep the scoring sheet 2 out of 2 after this event. But let's mention also P4 P5 our man Austin Superman Henry, after the little inconvenience at the start, 31 seconds behind now, but he's in a solid P4, while Hunt is now in P5, but he will have to fight off Elios Kier, which he's not gonna do because he's coming really fast, and he actually went already by him for P5. He's gonna be very mad. He's gonna push so hard. I bet he's gonna try to do the fastest lap in the last lap of the race.
Oh, definitely. He's definitely going to go for anything that he can be proud for. He's got Hunt on his back end, so Hunt's going to have that trap. So, oh, Skier's off again, and so does Hunt, and Hunt gets in front of Brian, and Brian goes off. It's a chain reaction, but Randall Bryant comes the worst out of all of them, and he comes very close to collecting another car as he swings back on track, and Randall Bryant can't believe what just happened to him right there.
It was like a choo-choo train. The leader went off the track and everybody followed, and Brian got the worst of it.
Indeed, they are. But Eric Foss leading with less than 2 minutes to go, and it's going to be very close. We are likely on white flag right now, but there's a chance we might have another lap to go if Foss pushes, which will certainly mess with fuel mileage.
I bet Foss, he knows about this situation, will lift a little bit. But you know how racing it is, sometimes he tricks you and doesn't give you the white flag, even though you are right there on the spot to score just 2 laps instead of 1. So it's gonna be interesting. Unfortunately, we don't know if Foss got the white flag this time by, but we will see him celebrate at the end of this lap. Will mean that he was gonna win and a race gonna end this lap. Otherwise, I bet he will go
this
straight
is definitely
to...
white flag. He's at the kink right now. 45 minutes has come and gone in 8 seconds as Eric Foss leading by 3.6 and gaining on Moritz Kranz. Foss up 6 spots, and it looks like he is going to take another trip into victory lane. And what a race it was. We didn't know who was going to win this coming into this race.
I told you, Austin, to keep an eye on Foss when he was just lurking around for place, letting everybody fight.
Yes, you did. Safe is fast, and taking the win here for the ACI Motorsports GT3 Cup, it is Eric Foss.
Great win. Masterful job also today. Great racing also by Kranz, but he made a little bit of mistakes. Not enough for today, and Dickinson took P3, which is a definite an improvement compared to last race where he finished 5th, but still is not gonna be happy. Meantime, we see here another fight for P8 with Madden and Kill.
Madden going a bit wide. Chill's got the inside. They're side by side. Madden, he's got the inside line. This RJ with that car damage, unable to get any sort of speed on the straight. And all he's got to do is have the drag race now. It's going to be close between Madden and Till. But I don't believe Till is close enough, as Madden's going to finish ahead of him as they come over the crest and cross the line. to finish 8th and 9th place. Wow. Just wow. What a crazy race we've seen here. Probably my favorite race I've ever seen here at Road
Post-race
America.
festivities here with the graveyard, not Day Junior's graveyard, but Road America's graveyard.
Oh yeah. The drivers that have been frustrated, they're just gonna send it straight into the
They had
tire
enough
barrier.
of it.
Yeah.
They don't want to see it anymore till next week.
Well, next week it'll be much easier on them. Because I know the next track is going to be a lot, well, less chaotic, as some might say.
Yeah, for sure. But I bet they will give us a very nice show also next week. So far, so good. 2 races, even though they had a big accident also at Watkins-Glen, has been a pleasure to watch, and the racing has been very, very good. So definitely a series you would pin in your calendar and come back to watch next week.
It definitely will be as we return next week at Virginia International Raceway VIR, one of the legendary American tracks. So it's going to be another closely fought race and a tricky race for these guys. Then after that, another track that's following a very American starting lineup of Laguna Seca, Road Atlanta, and we're gonna finish the season at Sebring. But now, as oh my goodness,
Are we at Cape Canaveral, Austin? They're putting on a show. They are putting on a spectacular show.
we just had a guy leave the atmosphere with that.
Let's see if anybody will come and join us, or if they are too busy making sure that the race official won't find any irregularities on their Porsche cars.
Well,
We are
before we
looking
go
forward to
and
them.
try to hunt for some interviews, let's first go through these results because I believe everyone's crossed the line right now, and now it's just headhunting cars. So
Indeed.
here is your results. Eric Foss takes the win ahead of Mortens Krantz. Riley Dixon in third place, followed by the Superman, Austin Henry. Elliott Skier, Richard Edge, Kurt Hunt, David Madden, RJ Till, Kurt Swearigan, Rod Ferroli, Clifton Lipple, Carlos Lopez Jr., Randall Bryant, Michael Manella, Alan Metney, Lynn Tran, David Smith in 18th place. They're followed by Bart Collins, James Thursby, Tom Kerr, Seth Davis, David Moore, Efren Castro, Dan Hardy, Dimitri Kellner, and Sebastian Carrazzo, finishing the race 19 laps down after a very after a crash somewhere like that.
Boy, they have certainly had a lot of fun, and as you can see on your screen, they are having a blast even at the end of the race in their cooling laps, even though the engine will be for sure cooled down after this, because after touching the atmosphere, they will be freezing.
Yeah, definitely. The air is very thin up there, and temperatures are very low as well.
Let's see if we can find any of the drivers in our interview rooms. If let's wait a little bit. Maybe they will be joining us in a few seconds time. Austin, Virginia coming next week. Still a very fast track, and I bet we will have still a lot of people getting caught off guard by the grass there, because it's a very fast and technical track, which with this car is not gonna be easy.
It definitely will be very interesting to find. And I'm certainly looking forward to next week as it's looking like no one's hopping into the interviews like last time. Well, any closing words, Alessandro?
Well, we had a lovely time here on Website Racing TV watching the ACI Motorsport GT3 Cup Challenge, and certainly we look forward for the following rounds. Not always has to be a crashing fest like we had in the Porsche Super Cup Esport race the other week, but this driver demonstrated us that this car is actually very good for racing, and when drivers are racing competitively cleanly, and they are putting a very good show, and we are really happy to have them on our channels.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to Apex Racing TV for the ACI Motorsports GT3 Cup Challenge. As we had a great race here at Road America. We'll see you next week at Virginia International Raceway. I've been joined by Alessandro Dalladone and Dennis Branch, who has given us all this lovely production. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night.